Welcome to this series on chaos destruction. In this video, we'll be covering how to make realistic glass fractures. We'll be replicating two types of glass, tempered glass and typical window glass. Links to the EPIC documentation and project files are in the description below. So let's get started. Here we are in our scene. I have two static meshes with a glass material applied, and both have been converted to geometry collections. Let's start with the tempered glass, since that's the easier one to fracture. So tempered glass is a type of safety glass which typically produces small Voronoi-type pieces when shattered, although it is not limited to just that shape. Square pieces are also another common type of tempered glass. I'll be showing you how to create both types of fractures, and Manny will be helping us out with that demonstration. Let's start with the Voronoi-shaped pieces. With your geometry collection selected, go to the Fracture section and select the Uniform Fracture tool. First, let's disable Draw Noise Preview. Let's start by changing our random seed to 1, just in case we need to replicate the same pattern again. Then change the min and max Voronoi sites to 3500 each. Then click Fracture. You can tweak these values if you need smaller or larger pieces, but don't go too high. On my system, once I got to the 5000 and above range, I started to notice that my PC was struggling to run the simulation. Before we run the simulation, let's rotate the glass 90 degrees and move Manny underneath it. We'll use his hard head to shatter the glass. And also, this will give us a relative size comparison with the fractured pieces. Now, run the simulation. This looks pretty good, and we have a ton of small glass fractures that resembled shattered tempered glass. Next, let's create a tempered glass that produces square pieces. First, we'll rotate our glass panel back to its original position. With our geometry collection selected, click on the Reset button to remove all our previous fractures. Then select the Slice tool. Set the Slice X value to 0, and set the Slice Y and Z to 50 each. Then click Fracture. Before we run the simulation, let's rotate our glass panel 90 degrees again. Now run the simulation. As you can see, we now have a bunch of square glass pieces. Increasing the Y and Z slice values will give you smaller pieces. Lower values will give you larger pieces. Again, be mindful of how many total fractures you are generating so you don't overload the simulation. Let's stop the simulation and move on to our window glass fractures. Before we do that, I just need to go to the Details panel and disable Physics on our tempered glass geometry collection, and enable Physics on our window glass geometry collection. This way, both of them are not simulating at the same time and slowing things down. So our window glass represents your typical non-tempered glass that, when shattered, produces sharp shards of glass pieces like you would get if dropped on the ground. This has no obvious impact location like you might get from a projectile hitting the glass. That type of fracture is easily done just by using the default values of the radial fracture tool, so I won't be showing that today. With our window glass geometry collection selected, click on the radial fracture tool. As I've mentioned in the fracture tools video of this series, the gizmo on this tool can be difficult to manipulate. So I'm just going to rotate our geometry collection to get the gizmo into the position we want. First, let's disable Draw Noise Preview. It's just very distracting when it's on. Now set angular steps to 25. This will give us 25 pie slices to our fracture. Set radius to 2000 so that these slices extend beyond our glass panel. Then set radial steps to 1. This will remove those inner circular cuts. Now scroll down to the noise section and set amplitude to 2. Then set frequency to 0.05. This will help break up the perfectly straight line cuts just a bit. Next, move the gizmo to one corner of your geometry collection. It doesn't matter which one. You want this slightly beyond the geometry collection. Then click Fracture. Now move the gizmo to the opposite corner and click Fracture. This will give us long, sharp shards. Next, click on the Uniform Fracture tool. Set min and max Voronoi sites to 30. Then click Fracture. This will break up our shards into smaller pieces. Before we run the simulation, let's move Manny into position underneath it. Now run the simulation. As you can see, we have a completely shattered pane of glass with some very sharp shards. And that concludes this video on realistic glass fractures. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you in the next video.